Hello students. So this is our second lecture on organic reaction mechanism and aliphatic nucleophilic substitution. The first lecture was on SN2 type of reactions, and in this lecture we will cover all aspects related to SN1 reactions. SN1 means unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. Uh, these nucleophilic substitution reactions, as you know, they take place at an aliphatic center, which is electrophilic in nature, and from this electrophilic center, one of the group, which is called as leaving group, is substituted by a nucleophile, and this type of substitution of one group from an electrophilic center by a nucleophile is known as nucleophilic substitution reaction, which we have done in the first lecture also. And as you know that depending upon the type of substrate and the nucleophile, we can have different types of nucleophilic substitution reactions. The substrate may be neutral and nucleophile may be neutral, then we will have these types of reactions, which will be called as nucleophilic substitution reaction. Then second category is that substrate is neutral and nucleophile is anionic. So negatively charged nucleophile and a neutral substrate will act as the reactant for nucleophilic substitution reaction. And third category is where substrate is cationic and our nucleophile is neutral. And this type of conversion into these types of products will be known as nucleophilic substitution. And last category is where both the substrate and the nucleophile, they are ionic species. The substrate is cationic and nucleophile is anionic, and we will have these types of neutral products from this reaction, which is another type of nucleophilic substitution reactions. Then one example each of this category. In the first case where this is neutral as well as nucleophile is neutral. So neutral substrate will react with the neutral nucleophile, and we will have ionic products. Uh, this will be tertiary quaternary ammonium salts, they will be formed as the product. Then second category, neutral substrate and anionic nucleophile, they will react to undergo nucleophilic substitution reactions, and we will get alcohols and bromide ion will be formed as the product. Then cationic substrate and neutral nucleophile will give us these types of products. Whereas cationic substrate and anionic nucleophile will give us the neutral products, that is alcohols and tertiaryamines, they will be formed as the product. And as I have told you in the previous lecture that nucleophilic substitution reactions we will study under these four categories. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitutions, which we have already covered in the first lecture, SN2 reactions, and in this lecture we will be discussing most of the things about unimolecular nucleophilic substitution as one type of reaction. And along with this, in this lecture we will also discuss nucleophilic substitution internal. So SNI type of reactions, they will also be discussed during this lecture. And in the next lecture, that is the third lecture, we will discuss about unimolecular nucleophilic radical substitution, that is SRN1 type of reaction, and these are also called as single electron transfer substitution reactions. So the next lecture we will discuss about the mechanism of these types of substitution reaction. So in the present lecture, we will discuss mainly about unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. This unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction, they take place in two steps, and out of these two steps, one step is a slower step and other step is a faster step. And what happens is that in the first step, the substrate that slowly gets converted into a carbocation and a leaving group anion. And because this is a reversible step and a slow step, this is the rate determining step. So the slowness of this reaction or this step will tell us that what will be the rate of the reaction. Rate of the reaction means that at what rate the reactants they will be converted to products. So that will be determined by this step. And in the second step, this carbocation created will interact with the nucleophile to give us the product. And here, because this is a charged species which is oppositely charged to the nucleophile, then they will react very fast to give us the product. And overall conversion of this reactant into this product is known as nucleophilic substitution reaction. And because in the first step, which is the slowest step and is the rate turning step, we can see that here only substrate is involved, nucleophile is not involved. Hence rate of the reaction will be dependent on the concentration of only substrate and will be independent of the concentration of the nucleophile. So that is why these types of reactions, they are called as unimolecular reaction, because rate of the reaction is dependent on the concentration of only one of the reactants. So kinetics, being unimolecular, rate of the reaction is dependent upon the concentration of substrate only and is independent of the concentration of the nucleophile. So that is why these SN1 type of reactions, they are called as unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. So this is one video of University of Surrey introduction about SN1 type of reactions.
Tertiary halogenoalkanes undergo SN1 reactions, where S indicates a substitution reaction is occurring, N indicates that a nucleophile is involved, and 1 indicates that only one species is involved in the slowest rate-determining step. In tertiary halogenoalkanes, the small hydrogen atoms in primary halogenoalkanes are replaced by bulkier alkyl groups. Tertiary halogenoalkane. The bulky alkyl groups do not allow attacking species to approach the central carbon atom. Consider the reaction between 2-methyl-2-bromopropane and a hydroxide ion. It has a two-step enthalpy profile. The first step The heterolytic fission of the carbon-bromine bond has a high activation energy, EA1, and therefore determines the rate of the reaction. The first step involves only the halogenoalkane and proceeds via a transition state complex to form a carbocation. The second step has a much lower activation energy, EA2, and hence is considerably faster than the first step. The carbocation reacts with the nucleophilic hydroxide ion via a second transition state to form the product 2-methyl-propan-2-ol. Transition state, carbocation, EA2. SN1 reaction.
So this is how SN1 reactions they take place. The energy diagram which you have seen in the video also, that in the first step the substrate, that is reactant, it gets converted into separation of this halide ion from this rest of the molecule. And then after that, when the separation has taken place in the first transition state, which is higher in energy, at this hump we will get the carbonium ion, halide ion, and nucleophile is already there in the reaction mixture. Then from this point onwards, the reaction of the carbocation with the nucleophile will take place at this transition state, and nucleophile will start attaching to the carbocation formed in the first step of the reaction, and we will get the product like this. And as you have seen, that energy of activation in the first step is much higher than the energy of activation of the second step. So that is why this step is a slower step than this step. And because of the slowest nature of this step determines the rate of the reaction. And the characteristics of SN1 type of reaction is that rate of the reaction will depend on the stability of the carbocation and how easily that carbocation can be formed. So lower the activation energy in the first step, higher will be the rate of the reaction. Then stability of the carbocation will be determined by energy of the activation, which is required to get the reactant transformed into the carbocation. And as you have seen, that transition state here is charged, therefore polar solvents, they will help in increasing the rate of the reaction. Then ability of the leaving group will also determine that what will be the rate of this reaction. Then because in the first step, which determines the rate of the reaction, nucleophile is not involved, therefore there will be no effect of nucleophilicity of the nucleophile on rate of the reaction. So that means SN1 type of reactions, they are independent to the effect of nucleophiles. Then is stereochemistry. Here the stereochemistry of SN1 reactions is opposite to what we have seen in case of SN2. In SN2 type of reactions, we have seen there is a complete inversion of configuration in case of product formation. So here what happens is that in the rate determining step, we form a carbocation from the substrate, and this carbocation is a planar achiral molecule, achiral intermediate, which is symmetrical in nature, where p orbitals, they are perpendicular to the plane of the molecule. So here what happens is that now because these lobes, they are perpendicular to the plane of rest of the molecule, the nucleophile can either attack from the front side or from the back side. Front side means the side to which the leaving group was attached, and back side means the side opposite to where the leaving group was attached. So depending upon that, because both the positions, they are unoccupied, now nucleophile can attack with equal ease either from front side of the molecule. Say this is our example, S3-chloro-3-methyl hexane. Now, when in the slow step, this chloride ion is removed, we will get this type of carbocation. Now, this is the front side of the molecule. Front side means the side to which the halogen was attached, and the other side is called as back side. Now, this nucleophile, say in our case is iodide, this can attack either from back side or from front side equally. So there is equal probability that this can attack from the front side as well as from the back side. So when iodide ion attacks from front side, then this type of product will be formed. That is, the nucleophile will get attached to the same position to which the leaving group was attached. So that means the configuration of the product will remain same as that of the reactant, right? So if it was an S enantiomer, the product formed by front side attack of the nucleophile will also be having S configuration. Whereas when the iodide ion attacks from the back side, then this will get attached to a position opposite to where leaving group was attached. That means the configuration of the product formed will be opposite to what it was there in the reactant. So here it was S, now the product will be R. So when there is equal ease of formation of S product and R product, that means 50% of this will be formed and 50% of this will be formed. And we know that when uh, two enantiomers of opposite signs, they are mixed in equal proportions, then the kind of product formed is racemic mixture. 50% of S, 50% of R. So that means the product formed will be a racemic mixture. So that means if the reaction is following SN1 mechanism, any optically active reactant will give us a racemic mixture theoretically. Whereas we have seen in case of SN2 reactions, there is complete inversion of configuration, which was known as Walden inversion. Now, why I have told you that racemic mixture is formed theoretically? The reason is that when SN reactions take place, theoretically a racemic mixture should be formed. But when experimentally the reactions they were done under SN1 conditions, it was found that some inversion of configuration may take place in the product. So the reason for that is that what we have seen is that nucleophile will get attached to the carbocation. Now, before the carbocation is actually formed, there are few stages. That first, this will form an intimate pair. When, because of the opposite charge, they are present as intimate pairs, that means because of their attraction, nucleophile cannot interact with this carbocation, and then solvent will solvate these intimate pairs. Then these ions, they will be separated by this layer of solvent. So solvent separated ion pair will be formed, and after that we will get free carbocation and free anion. So free ion pair formation takes some time after passing through this process, and when this process is taking place, till that time the backside of the molecule is free to interact with the nucleophile. So that means during this time the nucleophile can attack from the backside of the molecule, not from the front side of the molecule. So that means overall there will be a more tendency for the backside attack. And when backside attack takes place, then inversion of configuration takes place. And if there is a more possibility of formation of product from the backside, that means there will be more of the enantiomer formed with inversion of configuration. So that means in case of SN1 type of reactions, there will be more formation of uh, enantiomer with inversion of configuration, and therefore there will be some inversion of configuration in the products formed by SN1 reactions. So because of the backside attack of the substrate leading to the formation of more product with inversion of configuration. So we will take one example, that this extent of inversion of configuration, this will depend upon the time taken by the intimate ion pair to change into free ion pair, as I have already told you that it takes some time to change from intimate ion pair to free ion pair, and during that time the attack will be only from the backside. So if our carbocation is highly stable, it will take lesser time to change from intimate ion pair to free ion pair. And higher the stability of the carbocation, lesser will be the formation of product with inversion of configuration. Because of the higher stability of the carbocation, it will immediately change into free ion pair. And if it will immediately change into free ion pair, that means it will take very less time to change from intimate ion pair to free ion pair. And if it will take less time, that means there will be possibility of more racemization than inversion of configuration. So we can see this example. If we are starting an experiment with 2-bromooctane, which is R enantiomer, and in aqueous ethyl alcohol, as we know, the first step is slow, so removal of this bromide ion take place and a carbocation will be formed like this. And before the formation of carbocation, we will have this type of intimate ion pair, where this is having delta negative charge, this is having delta positive charge. So during this time, when this has not been completely removed from this carbocation, the more of attack from the back side is possible, right? And less of the attack from the front side is possible. And equal attack from back side and front side will only be possible when this bromide is removed from the carbocation. That is, when intimate ion pair change into free ion pair. So when this reaction was conducted, it was found that from the front side attack, the product with retention of configuration is formed, because here the nucleophile will get attached to the same position to which the leaving group is attached. So that is why this will have the same configuration. So we have started with R, this product will also be R enantiomer. that is from front side attack, and from back side attack there will be inversion of configuration because the nucleophile has attached to the opposite side to which the leaving group was attached. So reactant was R, the product will be S. So when this experiment was done, it was found that 17% of this product with retention of configuration was formed. 83% of the product was formed with inversion of configuration. So that means the change from intimate ion pair to free ion pair has taken much time. Because of that, the backside attack is much more in comparison to front side attack. And we know that means 17% of R and 17% of S, they will combine to give us racemic mixture, and 83 minus 17, that will be the inversion of configuration. So 66% of the product will be formed with inversion of configuration, and 34% of the product will be the racemic mixture. So this is how, on the basis of stereochemistry, we can differentiate between SN1 and SN2 type of reaction. And if this reaction would have taken place by SN2, then only backside product would have been formed. That no product from the front side would have been possible. There should have been complete inversion of configuration if the reaction has taken place by SN2 type of reaction. But in case of SN1, there is some inversion of configuration. Inversion of configuration is 66% in the present case. And if the same reaction takes place by SN2, then the inversion of configuration is always 100%. Another example to explain further about the SN1 type stereochemistry, we will take this example. We have taken R enantiomer of 1-bromo 1-phenyl ethane. Now you can see that under same conditions, aqueous ethanol first step will be a slow step, and now you can see that this carbocation is attached to a phenyl. That means this is a benzylic type of carbocation, and benzylic carbocations, they are very stable carbocations because this positive charge can be delocalized on the pi bonds which are present on the aromatic ring, and because of that there is a possibility of resonating structures which stabilizes the carbocation, and because of that the intimate ion pair very fastly changes into solvent separated ion pair. Now these cation and anion, they are not intimate enough, and because of the stability of this immediately gets separated by the solvent, and now the front side attack as well as back side attack, they are equally possible. And because of the stability of this cation, when this reaction was done, that there was complete racemization, 100% racemization took place, because 50% of product was formed with front side attack, that is retention of configuration, and 50% of the product was formed by backside attack, and here inversion of configuration takes place. So 50% R and 50% S, when both the enantiomers they were mixed in equal proportion, that is 50-50, we know we get complete racemization, that is 100%. And when there is complete racemization, that means there is no product formed with inversion of configuration. So this explains that how SN1 reactions, they are different from SN2. So in the present case, the electrostatic attraction between carbocation and bromide ion, they hold them together at a distance. Here the distance between this carbocation and bromide ion is much more, so that the nucleophile can attack from in between this distance. And the solvent molecules, they fit in between, but this allows nucleophile to attack the carbocation from both the sides equally. And because they can attack equally either from front side or from back side, that is why there is a complete racemization in the product formation. So that means basically the amount of inversion in configuration is directly related to the stability of the carbocation. Higher the stability of the carbocation, higher will be the racemization, and lower will be the inversion of configuration. Then are the steric effects. Uh, as we have said that the formation of carbocation intermediate is the rate determining step or rate limiting step. And because this is the rate determining step, which means the stability of the carbocation formed will determine the rate of the reaction. Higher the carbocation stability, higher will be the rate of SN1 type of reaction. So we know that methyl carbocation is less stable than ethyl carbocation. Ethyl carbocation is less stable than isopropyl carbocation. Isopropyl carbocation is less stable than allylic or benzylic carbocation, and they are almost equally stable as per tertiary butyl carbocation. So as the stability of this carbocation increases, the reactivity also increases in this order. So that is why methyl is less reactive than primary. Primary is less reactive than secondary carbocation. They are almost equal to allylic or benzylic, and they are either equal or less than the tertiary carbocations, depending upon the reaction conditions and the type of nucleophile chosen. Then among the benzylics, if we increase the number of benzene rings on the carbocation, and we know that this is a benzylic carbocation. As the number of benzene ring increases, the number of resonating structures, they also increase, and higher the resonance effect, higher will be the rate of reaction, because this carbocation is much more stable than this. And likewise we can see that if the rate of reaction is 1 in case of benzyl carbocation, then it is 1000 times faster in case of diphenyl carbocation, and it is 1 into 10 to the power 8 times more reactive if we add another benzene ring. So if it is triphenyl methane carbocation, this is 1 into 10 to the power 8 times faster than the benzylic carbocation. Then high rate of nucleophilic substitution, as I have told you, in case of allylic or benzylic system, this is because of the electron withdrawing nature of the groups which are present. This carbon-carbon double bond, they have the electron withdrawing nature of sp2 carbon, which is present adjacent to the carbon which is having the positive charge, or which is the electrophilic center, and because of that the reactivity increases. For example, if we are having this type of reaction, alkyl chlorides and we react this with aqueous ethyl alcohol, 50% aqueous ethyl alcohol, we will get alcohols, ethers and HCl as the product. And if we study the rate of these reactions, if we are having such type of alpha substituted allyl chlorides, then rate of reaction is 162. If we are having gamma substituted allyl chlorides, then rate of reaction is 38. And if we are having ordinary alkyl halides which are alpha substituted, we are the rate of reaction is 1. And if we are having beta substituted alkyl chlorides, then rate of reaction is very low. The reason is very simple, because by SN1 reaction we know the first step is formation of carbocation, and that means the carbocation will be generated at this place, at this alpha carbon, and this alpha carbon, that means delocalization of this double bond is also possible due to conjugate effect and resonance effect, and moreover this carbocation will be a tertiary carbocation. So in addition to being tertiary carbocation, there is an allyl group present which further stabilizes the carbocation, and because of the higher stability of this carbocation formed from this substrate, the rate of reaction is higher. Similarly here, the carbocation which will be formed will be a primary carbocation, and because of the presence of this double bond, this will shift to this place and carbocation will become a tertiary carbocation. So there is a possibility of rearrangement because of the allylic nature of this bond, and that is why the rate of reaction is 38. But here, because this was already present and we got the tertiary carbocation, with the removal of this immediately the rate was higher, whereas in this case we are getting only the tertiary carbocations and there is no delocalization of any unsaturated bond, and that is why the rate of reaction is less as compared to allylic carbocations formed in these two reactions. Similarly, one more example is when we are having phenyl groups attached to different alkyl chlorides. So if we are having tertiary butyl chloride, and then if one of the methyl is replaced by phenyl, and here we are having one phenyl and two methyl groups, and here we are having all the three phenyl groups. So we can see that in case of only tertiary butyl chloride, the rate of reaction is 1, and if we replace one methyl group by phenyl and one methyl group by hydrogen, the rate remains same. So what has been done is that one methyl group has been replaced by phenyl, at the same time one methyl group has been replaced by H. So that means here the carbocation formed will be a secondary carbocation. Here it was a tertiary, but the rate of reaction remains almost same, because although it is secondary, but one phenyl group is attached to it, and that is why the rate of reaction remained same. And now if we change this hydrogen by methyl group, that means the carbocation formed from this substrate now will be a tertiary carbocation. In addition, this will be a benzylic carbocation also because of the presence of this phenyl group. So the rate of reaction from 1 has changed to 620. That means this substrate is 620 times faster than this substrate for SN1 type of reactions because of the conjugation effect of this phenyl. Then if we replace these two methyl groups by two phenyl groups, and now this carbocation formed from this substrate will be having 3 phenyl groups, and they will give more stable carbocation. Because of the combined resonance effect of 3 phenyl groups, we can see the rate of reaction is about 6 lakhs, which is much faster than this substrate. So this is the effect of benzylic systems and allylic systems on rate of reaction in case of unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reactions. Similarly, if on the benzylic aromatic ring we add electron leasing groups at the ortho or para positions, they activate the ring like we see in case of electrophilic aromatic substitution, and hence the rate of reaction is enhanced very much by addition of these electron leasing groups at either ortho or para positions. So we can see over here, if we are having this is tertiary butyl chloride, rate of reaction is 1. If we replace this by this group where electron leasing group is attached, the rate of reaction increases 3400 times more than we have seen in this substrate. And the reason for this is the additional resonance due to the sharing of charge by the oxygen lone pair which is present on the methoxy. So we know that in the first step, if this is the substrate, in the first step this type of carbocation will be formed, and this carbocation undergo these resonating structures, and this structure is highly stable because here charge sharing is done with the oxygen, and this is an additional resonating structure, and because of this the stability of this carbocation formed because of ortho and para substitution at the benzene ring will activate this ring, and enhancement of rate of reaction will take place. So this is the effect of ortho and para substitution by electron leasing groups. Then another example of para substituent groups on the benzene ring it comes from nucleotide synthesis, which follows the SN1 mechanism. So for example, if we are having this type of nucleotide moiety, and if it undergoes SN1 type of reaction in aqueous acetic acid, 80% aqueous acetic acid, what will happen? This bond will undergo substitution, and this will hydrolyze to give us the corresponding alcohols. And basically when the reaction takes place by SN1 mechanism, what happens is that this bond will break and we will get this type of carbocation formed in the process, and this nucleotide moiety will be removed as alcohol. Now when this aromatic ring is substituted by 3 substituents at the para position, we can see the rate of the reaction when all these R1 and R2 they are hydrogens. That means the para position is not substituted, then the reaction takes place in 2 days, right? And if one of the alkyl substituent is methoxy, other are hydrogens. So out of these 3 rings, if one hydrogen is substituted by methoxy, then the same reaction will take place in 8 hours. If I replace 2 out of these 3, that is R and R1 hydrogens, they are replaced by methoxy group, the same reaction will take place in 15 minutes. And if all the hydrogens, all the three hydrogens, they are replaced by methoxy group, then the same reaction takes place in 1 minute. So from this example, we can very well imagine that how much the rate of reaction can be increased by presence of methoxy group as a para substituent. So the reaction which was taking 2 days to complete in the absence of methoxy group, that can be completed in 1 minute if there are three methoxy groups present at para positions. Then another type of conjugation effect is of alkoxy groups at a carbon of the aliphatic halides. For example, when this alkoxy group is present at the alpha carbon in case of alkyl halides, then we know if the reaction takes place by SN1 mechanism, the first step is formation of the carbocation by removal of this chloride ion, and this type of carbocation is formed. And because of the presence of lone pair of electrons on this oxygen, that means these can be shared with this carbon to form this oxygen carbon double bond. And this conjugation of oxygen with electron deficient carbon of the carbocation, this gives additional stability to the carbocation. And because of this additional stability due to resonance, the rate of reaction increases. So additional resonance due to sharing of charge by oxygen of the alkoxy group, this increases the rate of reaction many times in comparison to if this oxygen is not present. If this is carbon, then rate of reaction will be much less, because then there will be no conjugation of oxygen with the electron deficient carbonate. Now in case of bridged bicyclic compounds, uh, they are either not reactive or they react very slowly under SN1 reaction condition. The reason basically is the rigidity of the bridged bicyclic compounds, and because of their rigidity, it is not possible for the generation of the carbocation. And because the carbocation formed is not the free carbocation, and that is why the rate of reaction is very slow in case of bridged bicyclic compounds. For example, if we are having this tertiary butyl bromide, if rate of reaction is 1 in this case, then in this bicyclo 222 octane derivative of bromo compound, the rate of reaction is minus 10 to the power minus 6. Whereas in this case bicyclo 221 heptane, the rate of reaction is 10 to the power minus 40. So almost these substrates, they are unreactive towards SN1 type of reactions. Then effect of the nucleophile on SN1 type of reactions. As we have seen that in case of SN1 reactions, the rate determining step is the first step, where the substrate changes into the carbocation, and their nucleophile does not appear in the rate expression. And because nucleophile is not appearing in the rate expression for this reaction, that means the nature of the nucleophile plays no significant role in determining the rate of SN1 reaction. So SN1 reactions, they are independent of the nature of the nucleophile. Then is nature of the leaving group. Nature of the leaving group do affects the SN1 type of reactions. So if the negative charge stabilization by the leaving group is better, then the reaction will proceed at a faster rate, and if this stabilization is not better, then the reaction will proceed at a slower rate. So depending upon that, better leaving groups, they will complete the SN1 reactions in a faster manner, whereas the other leaving groups which are not easily removed from the substrate, they will be having slow SN1 rate. So tosylates, methylates, triflates, they are very better leaving groups. So they will be having a better SN1 reaction rate. Similarly, in presence of better leaving groups, SN1 reaction requires strong bases. So these are the strong bases which will enhance the rate of SN1 reaction. Then effect of solvents, uh, polar solvents, they will favor over non-polar solvents in case of SN1 reactions. And protic solvents, they will favor over aprotic polar solvents in case of SN1 reactions. So among the protic polar solvents, they are water and alcohols, and here the rate of SN1 reactions, they will be higher in comparison to aprotic solvents like HMPA, hexamethyl phosphoramide, dimethyl sulfoxide, dimethyl formamide, or acetonitrile. They will have a lower rate of reaction in comparison to water and alcohol, that is protic polar solvent. So this is one experiment where we can see that what will be the rate of different type of solvents. So tertiary butyl chloride, when this reacts with alcohol, we will get these types of ether, corresponding ethers, and if this reaction is performed in 100% ethyl alcohol, then rate of reaction is 1. If we use 40 to 60 mixture of ethyl alcohol and water, the rate of reaction increases to 100. So by use of 60% water, the rate increases 100 times. And if we use 20% water, then rate of reaction is 1400. And if we use pure water, the rate of reaction is 1 lakh times faster than in ethanol. So here basically the solvation of the intermediates takes place by hydrogen bonding. So water, because of this dipole moment, will solvate the carbocation in this manner, whereas water will solvate the leaving group in this manner, and because of this stabilization, rate of reaction will be affected. So this is how we can compare non-polar solvent and polar protic solvents. The polar protic solvents, they have lower activation energy required for the first step in comparison to non-polar solvents. So that is why here the rate of reaction is much higher than in case of non-polar solvents. Then, as we have seen that in the first step, carbocations, they are formed in SN1 type of reactions, and because these carbocations, the rate of reaction is determined based on the stability of the carbocations. So when a carbocation is formed during SN1 reactions, they try to change into a more stable carbocation, and this leads to the formation of a product which is abnormal product. That is, normal product will be formed when the product is formed from the same carbocation which is formed during the first step, and if the product is formed other than the normal product, then that is formed by a rearrangement of the carbocation, and such rearrangement is called as carbocation rearrangement. So for example, in this compound 2-bromo 3-methyl butane, if you see, if this reaction takes place by SN1 mechanism, that means this bromide will be removed in the first step to generate the carbocation. So that means this type of carbocation will be formed, and this carbocation is a secondary carbocation because this carbon is attached to two more carbon. And by 1,2 hydride shift, if this hydride is shifted to this carbon, that means this carbon will now have the positive charge. And if you see the structure of this carbocation, now this is a tertiary carbocation, and we know that tertiary carbocation is more stable as compared to secondary carbocation. So that is why now the product is formed from the tertiary carbocation and not from the secondary carbocation. So nucleophile is not getting attached to the same carbon to which the halogen was attached, but we are getting an abnormal product or rearranged product. So such a reaction is called as carbocation rearrangement. So another example, if we are having say this neopentyl bromide, and the reaction takes place by SN1 mechanism, then this type of carbocation will be formed by removal of this bromide, and now this carbocation is a primary carbocation, and if 1,2-methyl shift takes place, then this will change into more stable tertiary carbocation, and the product is formed from tertiary carbocation, not from the primary carbocation. So that means the nucleophile has attached to a carbon other than to which the halogen was attached. So this is again an example of a rearranged product. So the product has been formed by carbocation rearrangement, and these rearrangements only takes place because the less stable carbocation changes into more stable carbocation. In this case, secondary to tertiary; in this case, primary to tertiary, which are more stable carbocation. Similarly, an allylic arrangement can also take place. So if the reaction takes place by SN1 mechanism, first a carbocation will be formed by removal of this chloride. So this type of primary carbocation is formed, and if this moves to this place, this can change into more stable tertiary carbocation. So when this reaction was done, this product was formed only in 15%. This is a normal product. This is SN1 reaction. But this is a rearranged product where the less stable primary carbocation has changed into more stable tertiary carbocation. And this type of reaction is called as SN1 reaction, where the product has been formed by a rearrangement, which is called as allylic rearrangement by unimolecular mechanism, and such type of reactions, they are called as SN1 reactions, and this product is found in 85%. And then is substitution nucleophilic internal, which is called as SNI type of reaction. And this is a special type of nucleophilic substitution reaction where part of the leaving group which attacks the substrate detaches itself from the remaining part of the leaving group. So here what happens is this is one substrate alcohol. This reacts with thionyl chloride, and this lone pair attacks the sulfur and one halogen is removed. So that means this substrate will get attached to part of this substrate, and we will get another intermediate which is by internal transfer of the nucleophile. So these types of chlorosulfide esters, they are formed when alcohols they react with thionyl chloride, and this through internal shift of this nucleophile to this alkyl, this goes to this place to remove sulfur dioxide, we will get the product. And product formation is an internal arrangement through this chlorosulfide ester, which is formed as an intermediate, and then the here the product is formed with retention of configuration, because this will get attached to this R from the same side to which this OH was attached, because this is not attacking from the back side, this is attacking from the same side. That is why the product formed will be with retention of configuration. So if we are having any chiral alcohol, say R2-butanol, we react this with thionyl chloride, the product formed will also be R2-chlorobutane with retention of configuration. So this is different from SN1, because in case of SN1 we have seen there is some inversion of configuration, but here we will have complete retention of configuration when the reaction takes place in thionyl chloride, because here the transfer of the nucleophile is an internal method, SNI, nucleophilic substitution internal, internal transfer of the nucleophile. So one more modification of this SNI, that if in addition to thionyl chloride we use pyridine, then the product is formed with complete inversion of configuration, and the reaction follows SN2 methods. Now here what happens is that same reactants which we have seen in the last slide, there the products were formed with retention of configuration. But if we add pyridine, the product formed will be same, but there will be complete inversion of configuration. And this procedure is known as Darjan's procedure for synthesis of products with inversion of configuration. So here what happens is that alcohol, like in the previous case, attacks the sulfur, and this halogen is taken by the pyridine, and we get this type of ester intermediate in the reaction. And then the transfer of the halogen takes place from the outside, not an internal arrangement. So here the halogen from this pyridinium hydrochloride, is transferred from the back side of the molecule, and this goes to this place, and this halogen is removed. And because the attack is taking place from the back side of the molecule, the product is formed with inversion of configuration. And here the rate of reaction is dependent on concentration of this as well as the nucleophile. That is why this is having SN2 type of mechanism, and this is a different procedure than SNI type of reactions. So now based on these two lectures, we can differentiate between SN1 type of reactions and SN2 type of reactions. So in case of SN1, substrate is a tertiary substrate that will be preferred by SN1. Whereas in case of primary or methyl, the reaction will be preferred in SN2 way, because here backside attack is to take place and it will be easier for the nucleophile to attack a primary or methyl halide. Similarly, nucleophile should be a weak nucleophile in case of SN1 reaction, whereas in SN2 the nucleophile should be a strong nucleophile, because nucleophile also determines the rate of the reaction in case of SN2, whereas SN1 reactions, they are independent of the concentration of the nucleophile, hence nucleophile does not affect the rate of SN1 reaction. Then solvent here, polar protic solvents, they favor the SN1 reaction, whereas polar aprotic solvents, they favor SN2 type of reaction. And rate of reaction, you already know that in case of SN1, it is dependent on the concentration of only substrate, whereas here substrate as well as nucleophile, they will determine the rate of reaction. So that is why this is a bimolecular nucleophilic substitution and this is a unimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Then stereochemistry, in case of SN1, either racemization or SAM inversion, whereas in case of SN2 there is always a complete inversion of configuration, which is called as Walden inversion. In case of SN1 we will have rearranged products because of the stability of carbocations, whereas in case of SN2 type of reactions there are rarely any rearrangements in the products. So these are a few of the books which have been consulted for these lectures. One is by Bruckner, other is by Singh and Mukherjee, then Organic Reaction Mechanism by Jerry March. So these are the books which have been used for this lecture. Thank you very much.